Hi, guys. My name is Alberta, and welcome to the fifth episode of the Get Hitched live chat show. Today, we're going to be talking about dance for weddings, corporate events, and just in personal life. We have a very special guest with us. His name is Jean Claude Dimech, and he has his own school, Jean Claude's JE Dance. I'm also going to introduce for you guys my co host for today. Her name is Rosie. She works at Get Hitched with me. I hope you guys enjoy the show, so let's get it rolling. Hi, guys.
Hi Alberta, hi
Hey,
Rosie.
Hi, how are
hi
you?
guys.
Doing well, thank you. What about yourselves?
Very good from my end. Thank you. And you, Rose?
Good, good. Excited to get this discussion going.
Yes.
Good to be here with you both.
Yes. So to start off with, for our viewers, Jean, maybe you could introduce yourself a bit, tell them a bit about your background, so they know actually all the information from who and what experience you have.
Perfect. First and foremost, thank you very much, Alberta and the Get Hitch team for inviting me over. I'm pretty much excited to be here. And so basically, my name is Jean Claude. I am a ballroom dancer as well as a primary PE teacher. And I've been dancing for the past 10 years, starting very late, as much as 19 years of age. And halfway through my dance career, it's practically all spiraled out where when I decided to venture in Italy to get more professional training. And in the last few years, that's where I thought it's time to also open up my dance school, which is Jean Claude Dance. So that there's a French sound to it.
Sorry, I missaid it then for you. I apologize, guys.
That's fine. Not everyone gets French, but anyway. And dance practically came as an inspiration because my Italian grandmother from my mother's side was Italian, so it was only natural that at some point I would follow up to the and live up to the expectations of such a rich culture like the Italian culture, and since then it's what I've been doing both during work hours when I get the opportunity to get my students moving, and as well after school.
Cool, cool, cool.
Very
Just for
good.
our viewers to know as well, I met John around 2 years ago with the dance school. Basically, we're looking to start helping couples finding dance lessons for their big day. He has a lot of talent, a lot of experience. Like he mentioned, he's been training and has been going to competitions and has put a lot of effort and energy in this, starting from 19. I mean, it's quite super interesting. Um, I'm just going to put
Very
up.
well done, John.
Thank you. There's a funny story actually how I started, how I was actually. Um, the thing is that I didn't think I would be able to take up the sport because it was the 90s and there wasn't social media. Nobody, no, we knew from word of mouth, so there wasn't actually going on in terms of sports. But I remember I went to the junior college sports festival, not sports festival, the student festival, and in they were doing Rocky Horror Show, funny enough, and then
Okay.
halfway through, there came this Latin couple dressed in bright blue, and I was like taken back. I said, "This is fantastic. This is elegant. The chemistry, the everything was kind of." And then a friend of mine used to give me private lessons in the chaplaincy at university. You can imagine my friends looking beyond the glass. Oh, what are you doing over there? That was fun. So that's then it's all started rolling. So
Yeah.
it's
I mean, when I was younger, where I used to go to school, we had dance, we had jazz and everything. And I think dance teaches you, it gives you a certain etiquette, a discipline. For example, with ballroom, you have to be very, very dedicated. You have to be on time. It's all so organized. Every time I see it, even when I was younger, I would say like, wow, they're just spot on with every single next step that they have. I do want to take it into weddings. So we know that weddings in Malta, we always have the first dance, So first we had the ceremony, everyone's in love. And then we have this first dance that the bride and the groom take on together. But realistically, a person, there's a set of dance skills. I mean, how important is it? How important is the wedding dance, Jean, and actually having that dance skill for it?
with regards to the skill, I mean, looking back when I started, and it is as easy as learning a car. It's a skill. We are obviously, some people are more apt to catch up the rhythm of the music and than others, but it's really no big effort if you are putting the effort and the willingness.
Yes.
I think it's more the mental aspect when it comes to approach the wedding dance, which becomes a psychological barrier for most couples from
Okay.
experience, because in my opinion they're missing a great opportunity to actually do something for themselves, because we do organize the wedding reception for our guests, we do organize the venue, make it nice, we run our errands, so everything is geared about the wedding day, but not for about the wedding couple, the couple.
Yes. And even,
So
I think, even if the person is skilled in dance, I think it's still good to take on a few lessons, just even to get comfortable, to prepare yourself. Because if you have 400 guests, I mean, you're dancing in front of them. So you're being
You
put in the
find that's
spotlight.
something they do, Jean? If they are professional dancers, do you normally find that they do come to you still for the routine or?
normally, I've met a few couples who would, the lady would be a professional dancer, and she
Okay.
would want her struggling fiance. There, it's already starting from a point of view where you have the expert who wants to know it all, and I have this, I want to do this, and at this point I want to twirl, and maybe I do this, and then you have the man in a state of ice age, trying um, trying to deal with it. It depends. I've met a few ballerinas who would tell me, I just need to understand what to do, and maybe I can teach him. But
I need you to teach my husband because he doesn't listen to me.
that's what normally I would tell them, because obviously, especially being a male dancer, I understand very much so what the pressures and the expectations of an average man. So normally I would tell them, but listen, I know you have a background, but there's a difference in having a dance background and having a teaching background. So um,
Yes.
For sure.
I,
Yeah.
I mean, from my end, for example, me and my partner, we've been to quite a few weddings last year, and every time I'd be looking at him like, "Come on, let's go for a dance. Are you taking me for a dance now?" Come on. I was like, "No."
No
Whereas
chance.
I think out of like 6 or 7 weddings we had last year, I managed once. He's gonna hate me for saying this, and we did 2 steps forward, 2 steps. Okay, done, accomplished. Next, and he just went back.
I'm guessing he went in autopilot mode. He just left you manage his limbs
The
and
drink
legs and,
like
and
that. We went
just
in and we left.
I'm just being a mannequin, move, do whatever you want to do.
I definitely need you to help out, John, if ever.
It would be my pleasure. But I have, when I started offering this service to clients, I made a clear promise. So I would set a limited number of sessions, and normally in just about 5 hours, they would get that choreography. So I believe that my service should be deliver what I promise, and
Cool.
I
Amazing.
and also. It's not just an emergency pack service. I don't like to give things which are just for the sake of pulling through. I like to get to know the couple's style, the couple's characters. It's a showcase
They need
of
to be
your.
comfortable with you to
Yeah.
be able to learn, and actually take everything they've learned into their day and event. Would you even recommend that maybe they have a drink or two before they go for the first dance?
Um,
I
Normally,
wouldn't recommend it for myself.
well, it
For
depends what kind of drink, because
For
if
Rosie, no,
they
for sure.
the first hurdle, I'm told that those dreaded champagne glass flutes they're given after the church ceremony are really a deal breaker, because they're so hideous in the taste. So,
They're quite a
uh,
kickstarter, and you don't
I
even
think I
realize
would
them
just
then.
I would just have to have one glass just to calm the nerves a bit, get a bit
But it can't
relaxed.
be champagne for you, Rosie, for sure. And just to let our viewers know, Rosie can handle a very few amount of drinks.
Very little. Amazing, John. Thank you for the feedback on the last question. So if we move on to the second one. So regarding dance trends in weddings and events, so what would you say is the most current trend at the moment with regards to the dance and the song?
it's difficult to actually pinpoint a trend, but I've seen lately the mashup of dances as a group dance. Um, uh, then obviously there's a traditional couple approach, and then there is I mean, it really depends
Um,
on the trends. I personally focus more on the traditional side, where you can be traditional and modern, which is something I really would like to point out. I mean, traditional is timeless. It's a classic,
yeah.
and I've managed to be modern and traditional at the same time, because last year I had a wedding where a couple wanted to wear a Metallica fence.
Cool.
So
Okay.
they came up with this fantastic song, Nothing Else Really Matters. They danced it live to a live band, and they killed it. I mean, we did something which they were very much weary whether it's possible, because they had feedbacks of previous other opinions. But I told them, listen, we can dance just anything. So
Yeah.
and
And I think
I'm
there's
a
a lot.
very
I
sorry,
think
sorry.
there's
Go on, go on.
it's okay. There's a lot of different options a person can go for. They can go on the one-on-one, and even when I look at different requests that I see a tendency that people still go for the traditional setup of a wedding, between traditional, simple, modern. So I think the dance should link to the overall theme. I've been
The
reading a bit. There's
style
like,
they've gone for.
yeah, exactly. I've seen it's like we had a wedding last year we went to. They had a whole choreography with the bridesmaids and everything, with the group dance. It was super, super cool. And even I've seen videos online of like surprise dances where, the bride has no idea. And then all of a sudden the guy goes and like, all right, let's get this started.
I'd love to know. Maybe we can get some the viewers to let us know what song did you choose for the first dance? You can leave us a comment below.
We actually do have a comment here from Ben. Please don't give Rosie any wine, at least for the duration of the show. Thanks for that, Ben. We'll be
I
sure
could
to
do
not.
with one to calm the nerves.
for
Amazing. Thank you,
sure
Ben.
she wouldn't lose her balance, because you would already feel lightheaded. So that's good for the Viennese waltz. You go round and round and round. Yeah. That's the amount of sober that you need for the Viennese words.
Yeah, but I do agree with Rosie. If any of our viewers want to let us know, maybe there's a song that they've chosen for their first dance, if they've taken any dance lessons, if not, why did they go to that decision? And even if you guys have any questions, Jean will be more than happy to answer anything that you have. I'm going to go on to the next topic because we're already running in around 20 minutes. And Jean, basically, I wanted to ask you what your tips are for brides and grooms to be. I mean, there's practice, the dress area where they're going to be dancing. I don't know what tips you could give them.
So, the first thing when I have also clients coming to me is that I want them to think of the wedding dance not as just a bundle of steps. There's a whole process of learning. So, first and foremost, what are your expectation? What vision do you have? I'm just going to exaggerate the concept. Do you envision yourself having the lake scene of Dirty Dance where the man is lifting the girl off? Do you want to have that wow factor?
I don't think I
Or
would be able to do that with my partner, for example. But boom.
well, I had to. Well, I had a couple where they were quite daring, and she did kind of a dead. He just let her go and a drop, and it was like people were
Oh my
uh,
gosh.
it, I like
That's something
to
that would probably happen at my wedding, for sure.
no,
Me.
I can assure you nobody got hurt in during my lessons. I mean,
Very good.
we're quite safe about doing this stuff, and I had people also trying lifts, kind of running to the groom, because obviously men tend to be in general a bit more tough on the shoulder, and I do give tips on actual workouts for the men. For example, if you want to,
Okay.
I'd suggest you get your shoulder workout taken care of, your back, your chest. Those are kind of the upper body is very, very crucial for the man to support the lady because she has to feel safe.
Yes,
So,
definitely.
For sure.
and also, the dress, and not normally there's a much attention for the bride, but I also like to see a little bit of creativity from the groom side, because normally you have, okay, whatever, just choose or whatever, and I'd like to see the groom to take interest in having a style of his own. And there were grooms who asked me, listen, should I get this? For example, I would normally don't recommend fitted suits, because the minute you do like this, most probably gonna have a tear or two under your
Okay.
Regarding
or
the dress,
yeah.
would you need to practice in the dress? Because obviously there's women that have big dresses, long flowing dresses, and I assume the dress would
Even
be a
just
problem if you have
Kuda, we say in Maltese, the end of the dress,
the
Yes,
tray. Yes.
the
Do you
train.
normally practice in the dress
I
beforehand
asked
to make
them.
sure you can?
I ask them to turn out to come to the lesson with an outfit which has the fitting of the dress. Because
Similar to the dress.
so, for example, if you have a mermaid dress, you have to wear something skinny,
Yeah.
skin
So you can
tight.
practice
Yes.
that you can how much you can
Um,
move.
You can't.
it Yeah, I mean, that's the first thing I ask them, because it makes a difference, the dress and the choreography. And normally, I see a lot of couples making the mistake of doing the steps before placing the dress. And you end up with a lot of uncomfortable brides
Okay.
and limited. And the beauty of the choreography and the works of the choreographer is lost, because there's the
Of
stress,
course.
there's
You're
the
stressed, you
everything.
probably haven't eaten, there's all
Yes,
everything going on at the end of the day. I mean,
yes,
there's a lot
yes.
of preparation put into that one day. What about like the shoes? Do you suggest that they change their shoes for during the dance?
So I normally ask them. having obviously a ballroom dancing background, we are more or less, we understand what kind of style of shoe, whether it's bell bottom, whether it's pencil, it makes a big difference, especially on the type of floor that they're going to be. So I have most of the couples who have indoor. I would tell them, do not buy pencil, buy a bell bottom. A bell bottom, for those who don't understand technical term, is where the actual heel opens up at the bottom. And I ask them what they're going to buy, and most of the time I would be the one helping them choose a style which is the style of heel.
Comfortable.
Yes, and obviously I always recommend heel protectors to give them extra edge,
Yes,
extra
extra
purpose.
push.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, if they're having their, I don't know, their wedding starting at 4:30, they're probably in their shoes and ready by 3 in the afternoon, 3:30, because photography, videography, and everything happening on the day. And then you're going into the dance that is much later on. So see the amount of time that they've been on their feet already.
One more thing I like to ask them is bring them to the lesson and wear it at least half an hour every day for a week.
Break them in a bit.
Yeah.
Amazing, amazing. So there you have it, guys. We have some tips, especially with the dress and shoes. You know, tell the person that is helping you out with the choreography beforehand, so you can get comfortable. Like Jean mentioned, he can help you with choosing the right shoes and everything. So as much as possible, you're comfortable for actually enjoying the day and enjoying the dance. I am going to mention, guys, a few comments we have because we have quite a few here.
Great.
We have Gail, who is Jonathan's wife. Actually, she said, "Ask John how many dance practices he had." And guys, just
Too
for you to
many.
know, we did have a conversation about
That's
this
a million
before.
dollar question, I'd say.
Exactly. And then she also came to say, "Stop teasing and start planning." So thank you very much, Gail, for these. We have John actually that also commented. I don't think it's going to fit. Yes,
Wow.
it has. We danced to La Nuova Stella di Broadway. No one but us had ever heard of it, and there was a special meaning behind it.
Oh, that's
So,
nice.
Oh, sweet.
and then Gail commented again, so she still loves it. And we have more. Actually, John then came up with a question. So it doesn't show up all. I'll tell it to you. Jean, do you give suggestions when it comes to the dance songs? I can't count the amount of weddings where they played the same song of Ed Sheeran.
Yes. So normally I send my clients a questionnaire where they have to sit down and, for example, when uh, when was the period time frame that you met? So let's say in the 90s.
Okay.
So
And then you build
there's a process.
accordingly.
Yes,
Good.
and then they would come up with the last client. Funny enough, she managed to come up with 20 songs.
Wow.
And then we had to, it felt like a Sanremo edition, where I had to actually help her draw it down to six and then to the final three, because the client in particular wanted a mashup of three. Um, uh, there are songs which have meanings, so don't look for the songs which actually describe the general feel of what it means to be in love, but go for the songs which make you smile, which make you emotional, which you can look at your partner and really feel how meaningful it's this moment to be in his or her arms, you know. Um, uh, for example, if I had to think, practical songs that remind me of particular milestones, for example, in my dance career. So when I hear, for example, um, Good Girl, I can't remember what it was. It reminded me of one summer when I had
The-
my first training camp abroad. or
Check, you're going to relate it to
yeah,
certain
Exactly.
songs with a
things,
Songs do. They
memory.
take you
It,
back to
yeah,
memories.
or
exactly.
get funk, Daft Funk. So there were particular songs which when I listened to them, oh look, it's evoking, So look for songs which evoke strong emotions if need to be.
Very good. Very good.
Amazing.
Very good. You did also, I think, come to answering the next question we had from Ben. Do people choose a wedding song that actually means something to them, or do they just pick something that is current? So you did already mention that you do help and you do try that the song means something for them. But do you get the couples that just want that song that is current, that everyone is using at the moment?
Yes and no. I mean, normally, let's say I had this couple who had requested a song from The Greatest Showman, and it was in
Okay,
a period when The Greatest Showman came out. Um, but then I wanted to go a step further, so I said, okay, what is that you liked about The Greatest Showman? And there was this Rewrite the Stars, because they both liked it. Okay, so I said, what did you like about that song? And they liked kind of the scene where they were in the air. And I said, okay, we're not
cool.
going to recreate a rope scene, but we actually recreated the feeling by having a long cutout of cloth, and
Okay.
we used kind of aerial. I can't remember what's the name. Aerial. When they have dancers on material.
Okay, yes, yes,
Still,
I do
yeah.
understand. That's
So
very cool.
we did that on a horizontal frame, and it was so much fun. So if they have to use a song that's currently being played, why not personalize it rather than just sticking
Make
to
it
the
unique, make it
lyric?
different, make it
Yeah,
more fun. Because at the end of
yeah.
the day, I think the most important thing that sometimes people stop thinking about is you actually need to enjoy the day, make it fun. Because there's a whole, we have couples that plan 2 to 3 years in advance, of course, people are working full
Some
time
even
jobs,
more.
some part time, yes. So like I just want to like remind all the viewers at the end of the day you want to enjoy it and have fun. So like John is recommending, do think outside the box, get somebody to help you and actually enjoy the special moment in the day. So guys, we've hit over 30 minutes already and we're still on the third question. So I'm going to take it on and I'm just gonna pop up the next question.
Sure.
Physical
So,
activity, Rosie.
so moving on to the next question for you, Jean. So, with regards to dance being a fun physical activities, obviously the situation we're in at the moment, where we're not able to go out and be as active as we used to be. What tips, advice would you give us on being able to stay active whilst being stuck at home?
So that also late as soon as this COVID-19 crisis started out, I've seen a million people posting, workout videos and the likes. But in terms of couples, I've had kind of this feeling that now that we have the time, why not do something together? So that's where I came with the initiative to create a Facebook group, which is called Date with Danse by myself, where I use the occasion to offer a dance lesson that is a date night. Because now we are pretty much stuck at home, and the hours of telework seems to be quite extended than our normal working hours. So I understand that the practicality of actually keeping to the gym routine and the progression is difficult, and we tend to lose the us thing because everyone is doing his own thing. I have my own routine. I have my, he or she might have hers. So I said, okay, let's try and do this initiative, and actually have the couple encourage each other, because that's where it's sometimes most lacking, even in the regular lives we had before. You'd have maybe she's into aerobic classes, he's into the gym, but then we don't seem to see each other in the same training time. So, create something which you encourage each other, basically.
Cool.
Amazing. Very great idea.
Remote activities, there's a lot of different things as well that people can do. So you don't have to be locked in the house, you can go on the roof if you have, and go into the Facebook page that John has, Date with Danse, get his help so you guys can rekindle the love, and get something going again.
Very important, very important.
But we can't
Me,
stress enough how important it is, right, Rosie? Get even people. For example, with me, I have my son at home. Rosie has 2 kids at home as well. You want to keep everyone active, not just sat on the
for
sofa.
us, I've got the kids the Just Dance game for the PS4, and it's amazing. It tires the kids out proper. And they have this one dance, it's called Just Jingle or Jingle It or something, and it's a full 3 minutes of twerking.
Oh,
It's the best workout. It's amazing.
I
No,
actually
we've
got
been having
stuck
some
the
great
game
fun
as well.
with it.
I know, and it's such a good workout. I when I started playing this game with my son, it reminded me of dance. Is actually such a good workout because you're having
And
fun,
yes,
you're
especially with the
moving, you're
kids.
using all your muscles. Exactly.
and the funny part is you're actually thinking of what you're working, because normally if I'm going to the gym, I would go kind of in an automated mood. So as you do the repetition, you're just not thinking consciously. Whereas in dancing, you are actually, oh, I need to go to the left. Oh, I need to go to the left, to the right. So, there's this silent mind conversation going on. And if you're two, oh, I need to pay attention not to step on his foot, or
Yeah.
um,
Very
Very
cool. We
good.
actually have another comment here. So we actually have Gail asking, and how many drinks for the wedding dance are recommended?
um,
Like we said, depending on the person.
Yes. No champagne.
there's no limit as long as you have something to eat.
Yes.
Good
And
point.
well, I like to treat my clients with a drink when they come to my lessons, because
Cool.
it's that I wanted to make it fancy. It is fancy. Dance is a fancy thing to do. So, and it's a question of what do you like to drink. I mean,
Yes.
go for your favorite drink, and if it makes you feel good about yourself, why not?
Exactly. We have another comment here from Gabby at Sopardi. Very interesting. Keep it up, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, Gabby, for that. So I'm going to go on to the next question because we are really pushing with time now. And basically, I wanted you to talk a bit about dance in corporate events and in team building events. So, guys, just for you to know, yes, Jean does the ballroom dance and everything, and he does work a lot with couples on their wedding dance, which we really recommend. Get some practice, get comfortable for the dance on the day. But I know you're tapping into now slowly team building activities with dance, right? I don't know if you want to tell our viewers more.
Yes, so practically there's an interesting story about it. If we recall back to Valletta 18, there was so much hype going on, and I was working with a sport NGO where I was invited to offer an exercise to a group of 40 representatives from different countries. They were coming
Okay.
from Valletta 18. So I said, okay, this is. They wanted ask. They asked me to have a team building activity, and then kind of it all started rolling from there. But the idea of team building actually was quite at the back of my mind, because obviously I deal with children, and if you know, pretty much I'm exposed to that kind of style of teaching, because when you teach dancing in school, it's a way of it's a sport where it encourages team building. So I said, why not have the the work environment, the corporate companies have this opportunity as well. So that time I had like 15 minutes, and I said, okay, so the difficulty that understandably most companies come up with, the perception in dance, is that it's a bit traditional. There's the teacher, the man on the left, the ladies on the right, quite traditional. So I wanted to come up with something which is very team oriented. So I practically did not teach them myself to learn how to dance, but they learned themselves. I just gave them a mind map of steps and a challenge. They had to figure out what they're going to do. I just stepped in to explain the music, and that's it. So people understood the role that they. So if I'm good at explaining, I'm going to explain what I understood. If I'm good at executing, I'm going to show. And that brought a lot of character traits which are needed for the workflow. I mean, the employers need their employees to have initiative, to be creative, to be
Be
leaders.
comfortable together.
Yes, I know.
So yes, I mean, I don't think we see a tendency, at least, where team building a lot of the times is having a drink basically together. But realistically, I think taking it to dance, you're even helping that age gap where you have certain companies that have a young generation and an older generation, because they're able to actually connect on something new that is fun. So you're breaking the ice, getting the whole team comfortable.
It challenges a lot because you actually have it is in a controlled environment where you're actually allowed to physically touch your colleague, whereas there is always this tension at work, men and women working the same. The dance is an opportunity to actually get to know this person, and get upfront in his or her face, and work things out. And it's amazing how people manage to communicate. So you say, because I had certain perceptions about you, and now that I actually had to stand in front of you at a reduced distance, I mean, there's a physical distance which is reduced. It really brings them through. And also, there's another aspect, the emotional intelligence. A dancer, depending on the role, whether it's a leader or follower, has particular emotional skills that he or she needs to take care of. So if I'm a leader and I am dancing with my partner, I have a lot of floor craft, paying attention not to bump in another couple, make sure that my lady is safe in my hold, guiding that the lady in towards the direction. So there's a lot of micromanagement going on. So it's not the steps; it's the thinking process that's happening up here, which has to bring people together.
Yes, yeah. We were actually planning this before this whole COVID-19 situation happened, right, Jean?
Oh,
We
I
were gonna
team
get
building.
hopefully all of the team from Get It
Well,
to
I
do.
still have a surprise about that because recently I've been doing a bit of research, and it seems like it's still a practical thing to do it, but at a remote on a remote platform. So we
Very
can
cool.
we can
Very
still
cool.
do the thing.
Even better, because we'll manage to get Ben to do it as well then.
Here comes the trouble now.
Super. All right, guys. I'm just gonna hover up the last question.
Thank you very much, John, for all your information. I'm sure our viewers have enjoyed listening to all your feedback. I don't know if you have any final recommendations for the couples getting married, whether it's in their personal lives or for their events. Any recommendations you may have?
First and foremost is try and spend quality time together, and not just in the same room where unfortunately most of us are bound. Actually try and get comfortable with each other. I mean, hug more often, cuddle more often.
In Wales, we say cwtch.
Oh, that's nice. I
Okay.
like the sound of it. It reminds
In
me.
Wales,
Oh,
we like to cwtch.
okay. But for in Maltese, coach means something else. It's someone cute.
Yeah. Oh,
It's
is there?
cute.
Cutula.
I didn't
Yes,
know.
we
I
have
didn't know.
kuchlu. It's someone cute.
A kuchlu.
um, uh,
Sorry, guys.
yeah, basically do things together, watch meaningful, inspirational films out there. So I think it's time, this is the perfect time to really focus on the relationship. I hate the Maltese saying that the wedding is a surprise box. I disagree with it because it is a journey. And if you are not prepared to notice the milestones you are going through, um, and put yourself in a position where you discuss what you're going through, and this especially for the males out there, because I know how hard it is to be a man, to man it up, and all this pressure that society brings on. You are going to spend the rest of your life with a person who you chose, and do not be afraid to kind of draw on the vulnerable aspect of yourself, because that person is going to be a major team player in your life, and um, the more you appreciate each other's positive and negative aspects, the better you can be together.
And I suppose the
Amazing.
situation we're in at the moment, where everybody's at home and there's couples which are both not working, it's really putting people to the test now, spending so much time together.
Yes, I mean there's so many things one can do. That is why, as I previously mentioned, I had this fun idea of having a date night, because it also encourages the people to change the mood. So okay, we're going to have a dance date night. We're going to change up. We're going maybe wear different clothes other than our usual pajamas, and play it up, guys. It's
Yeah, have
time
some fun.
to dress up,
Enjoy.
once in a while.
Yes, definitely. I don't know if you have maybe like any funny story before we end the show. Like if you have any funny story about, I don't know, maybe a wedding or anything you'd like.
Oh, a funny story. So basically, I had this couple who were friends of mine, and I was excited because I got invited to their wedding, and as a wedding gift, I gave them dance lessons. And so the big day came, and they were going to dance, and I was in the front, pushing through people so they can see me, and that they just tell them I'm there for them. And as soon as the music started, the bride fainted. So
Oh no.
yeah,
Oh, I
so I
shouldn't
said,
laugh. That's bad.
well, it was funny because I said, "Snap! This is this is what I worked for," and then it's
Yeah, what do you do now, you know?
basically I got to know that her corset strings were tightened too much, and she couldn't
Oh.
breathe. She
And she
didn't have
couldn't breathe.
so it's like boom.
Oh my gosh. Oh my God.
So
But I hope she
then
didn't get hurt.
no. I mean, there were people. There was a team, football. You could say a football team ready to cushion the blow, and half an hour later they managed to pull through flawlessly. But the instant I said is just my lucky star. Yeah, there you go.
Oh my
So
gosh. Oh
as
my
a
God.
good tip for people watching, do not put your corset too tight.
Yeah,
Yes.
listen there,
Need
and
to be able
have
to
something to
breathe
eat.
and relax. Amazing, guys. I've really enjoyed talking with you guys today. Thank you very, very much, Jean, for taking the time to be on the show with us. And thank you, Rosie, for co-hosting. Just for all our viewers to know, this is the first time we've done anything like this. So I think we've done very, very well. I think we've given a lot of good content for our viewers. I am going to put up... so we have Ben. He posted that we all deserve a drink after this show, because it's great.
Definitely.
Amazing.
I agree with that one.
We have to come
Thank
up
you.
with a Friday special then.
We'll have a virtual drink.
And then he also said, haha, I forgot about it. So he's not getting away. We have to get him in for the team building activity with the dance. He's not getting out of it. And we also have Alex here. He's told us keep up the great work.
Thank you,
Thank
Alex.
you for that, Alex. And oh wow, another one, Gail. John has a dance date night regularly with Chloe. Actually, they get dressed up and everything. Oh,
yes, I forgot actually to mention also that couples who might have children prior to getting married should also consider a special dance included.
yes,
That
incorporating
would be
them
nice.
in the first dance,
That's
right?
definitely something to really go for, because I've seen very few people. Normally they just hide the kids away, but kids are part of our family, so why not have them celebrate rather than just put in a room.
Definitely. I would 100% agree to that. I think kids make a lovely touch to it. And especially because nowadays we see a lot of more people that are having kids before they get married. I mean, they're moving in. We're doing the process the other way around, sort of, where we're learning.
Hands up to that one.
Yep. Okay. And we have another final comment here from Jonathan. Guys, rocked it. Fun show and very informative. Amazing. I'm glad everyone has enjoyed the show. I don't know if you guys have any final words, Jean and Rosie.
It's been a pleasure, guys.
Thank you for inviting me on this lovely platform. For those who would like to follow me, my journey, and a little bit more about me, I'm on Instagram. It's Jean Claude, and on Facebook, Jean Claude Danse. So anyone can drop me a line, and And I'm also on YouTube, where I also give 10-minute talks about couple tips and how dancing can help the relationship. So
amazing. I'm going to show you all the last comments we have from Sylvia Dimech. Keep up the great work. Bravo.
That would be my mom.
Oh, how sweet. Thank you, Sylvia.
Hi, Sylvia.
All right, guys. Well, thank you very, very much. I really, really love the show. I'm just going to, if you have any other final words, I'm going to take you out of the stream. I'm going to say everything to the viewers. Thanks and that. And that's a wrap. All right. So see you guys. Bye.
Bye. Have a great weekend.
And
see you guys.
And you both.
Ciao.
Bye.
So there you have it, guys. I think that was a really great show. I mean, John had a lot of information to give about dance with corporate events, personal life, and weddings. I do recommend getting a person to help you guys out, even just getting comfortable, making sure the dress size is right, you're feeling good, your shoes are right, or everything. As he mentioned, he has his page. You can go in and speak with him. There's also Get Hitched to find him. He actually works with us on Get Hitched. So that's another way to connect with him. It's been a great show, guys. Thank you very much for watching our show, and see you next time. Ciao.